Councillor Adeyemo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bearing in mind the high volume of complaints about traffic congestion and parking, or should I say inconsiderate parking, around Olton Primary School at pick-up and drop-off times, what is the Cabinet member doing to resolve this situation for residents around the area for whom the situation has become intolerable?
Mr. Hawkins.
Okay, I've continued. The number of complaints about traffic congestion at Olton School is no worse than typically being received at many schools at this time in the borough, perhaps even in the country. Generally, this increase is being responded to by the council's civil parking enforcement officers and the local neighbourhood policing teams as and when resources permit. The current traffic problems at schools right across the borough appears to be related to the COVID travel restrictions and lack of confidence in the use of public transport, which has led to more children being taken to school by car. Certainly, it's a school where a vast proportion of children come from out of borough. This situation is expected to ease over the next few weeks as the restrictions are lifted, vaccination programs are complete, and travel behaviours return to pre-COVID levels. Also, where this particular location has had added pressures caused by construction traffic, and when they is finished, I hope to see an improvement in these developments. And I'll say this now, to say this to all ward members. Look, ward members, you can engage with the school community to look at ways it could be issues that could be mitigated. In the meantime, I'll ask officers to continue to work with ward members to monitor the situation, not just in Olton, but other schools, and to consider whether any additional parking restrictions, traffic management measures, or pedestrian facilities are required.
Thank you, Councillor Hawkins. Do you have a supplementary, Councillor Adeyemo?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. I am quite surprised and very disappointed at that answer, if I must say. We have, I mean, the Cabinet member and council officers have repeatedly had lots of complaints about problems on Linden Road, where in some cases ambulances have not been able to get through. However, I shall go on to my supplementary question. Bearing in mind the significant problems currently being experienced on Linden Road and the outlying streets, including Butler Road, Kent's Close, Eastbury Drive, Cloudesley Grove, Daylesford Close, and Blathorn Avenue, it is pretty obvious to anyone that the situation is bound to get much worse if drastic action is not taken. In September, Olton Primary School's infant unit is due to be relocated from the Daylesford site to the Chapelfield site, where the junior school is currently located. If you think the traffic situation is bad now, how bad will it be when you have two schools merged together at the same location? Will the Cabinet member please tell the residents of Linden Ward what long-term plans will be implemented to ensure that the currently intolerable situation does not get even worse for local residents when these two schools are merged together at the Chapelfield site?
Councillor Hawkins, please.
The school expansion was considered by planning committee last year, and they now stand as school travel plans conditions were applied. I would signpost the ward members to the forthcoming planning meeting where this matter will be determined should they wish to raise concerns about additional access to the school. Again, I ask you to meet with government representatives to look at ways that can be used. I met with a former Liberal Democrat candidate in Blythe. It's now a governor at a school in my ward. And they're looking at, well, they've started things like extending writing with the schools to help educate the pupils, to educate the parents about safer parking. This is not just a problem in your school. Unfortunately, it is parents and carers and people like that who are dropping children off. Hopefully, once people are going back on public transport, that will get better. That might not be such an easy option for primary school children, but I think the count, it's not just a council issue. We can ward members can engage, and in the school, you know, 496 pupils. That's 79% of them come from outside Solihull. So this is a Solihull being. This is the problem being borne by the residents of Linden because of parents from outside the catchment area. But that's no difference to a lot of other schools, even in my ward. But it is something I'm really keen on to ensuring. Road safety is a paramount theme for me. It always has been, certainly in my professional career, and it continues to be so.
Thank you, Councillor Hawkins. Moving on. Agenda